Good morning, everyone. Most of you might not know me yet. I'm Katrien Windels from Ghent University, and I'm replacing Sarah, my colleague, as a project manager. Since she's in maternity leave, she just gave birth to a wonderful girl named Stella. So I'll be replacing her until November, more or less. So before Vanessa dives into Zenodo, I thought it would be a good idea to just quickly repeat what the open access requirements of Horizon Europe are to give that context before we get more into the technical use of Zenodo. Next slide, please. Yes, so the mandatory requirements in Horizon Europe projects are that you need to give open access to all peer-reviewed publications by depositing an accepted version in a trusted repository. This could be either an institutional repository or one like Zenodo. And you need to provide immediate open access through the repository. So embargoes which were allowed in Horizon 2020 are no longer allowed now. You need to give open access under a CC BY or an equivalent license. And also they ask that you include any research output or tools that are needed to validate the conclusions of the publication. So that is for the publications. On the other hand, there's also the requirement that you give open access to the research data that underpin your publication, also via a repository. But their exceptions are possible. So the guiding sentence is a bit as open as possible, as close as necessary. So it could be for commercial reasons or for GDPR reasons that data are not open access via repository. Normally, the metadata should in any case be open. But this is all described in the data management plan, which you will find on the SharePoint. So in case of doubt, I would refer to that. Next slide. So where can you publish to be in order with those open access requirements? There are several options. You can publish in a full open access journal of your choice, and in many cases you will have to pay an article processing charge then. This is also called the Golden Way. This fee is an eligible cost on the project. There are also hybrid journals that are journals where some articles are open access and others are not. This is not really encouraged by the Commission, so that's why the cost is not eligible. Of course, since this is a lump sum project, it's a bit less relevant. You could also publish in a closed journal, but then you need to retain the copyright. So the right to immediately deposit the accepted author manuscript. And this depends a bit on the policy of the publisher. So it's not always possible. And then there's Open Research Europe, which is an open access publishing platform, also with peer review by the Commission. It's free of charge. Besides the publishing, you always need to deposit your publication in a trusted repository and provide open access via the repository. There's also a link there where you can find which journals are fully open access. And on the next slide, which is also my last one, I've included a link to a useful tool, the Journal Checker tool, which allows you to see what the policy is and if you can comply with the open access requirements by publishing in a certain journal. So you enter the name of a journal, the funder, which is the European Commission, and your institution, and then it tells you whether it allows you to comply with the requirements, but also what with the publishing fees. So it might be, if it's a full open access journal, that they say, yeah, the fee is eligible. It might also be that your institution has a publishing agreement with certain journals, and through that agreement you don't have to pay an APC. So all of that is behind this website, so it might be useful if you're considering a certain journal to check it here. This was all for my introduction. I don't know if there are any questions. If not, over to Vanessa.
Yeah, maybe if you have some questions. I have some questions because for me it's not so clear what is golden. What was the name? Golden Way and the other, because what kind of journal can be an hybrid one? Because most of
So a full open access journal is one where all the articles for readers are available without having to pay anything. A hybrid journal, yeah, and a hybrid journal offers both free open access articles, but also articles that are behind a paywall. But like I said, because this is a lump sum project, and yeah, you can basically choose if you put the fee on the project or not. It's a bit less relevant, of course. Yeah, you have some costs foreseen in your budget and others not.
Because I have tried with this tool, including here a journal, which is an hybrid one. You can choose to be totally open access, paying a fee or not, and with the founder and the institution InnovaWood, and the result was just the journal policy allows compliance with European Horizon, but it was really an hybrid one. You need to pay a fee for publishing there, so that's why for me it's a bit confusing.
Well, if you publish in a hybrid one and you pay the fee, then normally the article will be open access.
Yes, but
so that's okay.
Can the fee be paid by the project or not? This is not so clear.
Well, the Commission says it's not an eligible cost, but as we don't have to claim the costs to the Commission since it's a lump sum, it's not so relevant. You understand what I mean?
Yes, now I understand. Thank you.
Yes, there was another question.
Yeah, I was just wondering, because we were talking about journals, does that also apply to conference proceedings?
The open access requirement is about peer-reviewed publications.
Yeah, but it is a peer-reviewed publication, so yes.
So yes.
Yeah, then it applies also.
Okay.
And could you explain what this means, that you can immediately deposit an article if it's not in an open access? That was the third point on your slide.
Vanessa, could you go to this one?
Yeah, you retain the right to immediately deposit the accepted manuscript. What does that mean? Deposit?
So that you put it in the repository and you give open access via the repository.
But why is it then a closed journal? They will not accept that.
Yeah, well, that's the difficulty. Sometimes there are some guidelines on how to do that, but like I said, it's a bit of a negotiation. They have this sentence here that when you submit your manuscript, you should include the name of the funder and the grant, and that you say this work was funded by the EC for the purpose of open access. The author has applied the CC BY public copyright license to any manuscript version arising from the submission. That you already say this when you submit your manuscript, and then basically, I guess, see what they reply to that.
Okay, so it's up to the journal to decide if you are allowed to then spread it or not. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a, they're trying to push closed journals towards open access, but this is not guaranteed that this will work. So if not, then you might have to choose another journal if they don't agree.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Let's go then to how to use Zenodo to publish it. publishing open access results or publications. Yeah, this is just a simple guide and how to use this open repository for EU-funded research data and results. Okay, the table of contents, it's the first thing is what is Zenodo, the benefits of the EOI and file links, how to log in, how to upload and publish the papers of the documents, how to manage communities, and finally the user support if you have some questions. First, what is Zenodo? We will present now an intro, the benefits for the EU-funded research, how the Zenodo main page looks like, and also the same for the community page, and finally how to publish the results, to publish the results. Okay, what is Zenodo? Zenodo is this open repository developed under the European OpenAIRE program, and which is operated by CERN. CERN is the European Organization for Nuclear Research, and it allows researchers to deposit research papers or data sets or conference papers or just PowerPoint from presentations, software, whatever, and in an open access repository. Every publication has their own DOI, which is the digital object identifier. So it is an unique document, and this is one thing that we need to have in mind, because every publication has their own DOI, and if you are trying to publish or to upload any document to Zenodo which already has a DOI, you need to include it there. You cannot create a new one for the same document. So this is, I think, that the main thing we need to take into account. Okay, this is more detailed explanation about what is Zenodo. I don't know if you need to, if you want, I read it up, but maybe it's better that you read it later when you get the PowerPoint. So then we can go more in detail to how to use this Zenodo. What are the benefits for EU-funded research? The first thing is that this is a full open access repository, so it's free and it's easy to use for everyone, and ensures that FAIR, which is findable, accessible, interoperable, and reusable guiding principles for scientific data management. It's you get an instant publication of any document, so you don't need to wait for a peer review and acceptance. You can just publish it. There is a full referencing of authorship, contributors, organizations, sources. You can include how many information that you want. Yes, you are obtaining this DOI for every publication. So it's identified, and you can cite it or reference to it later. You can create communities, which is the case for this Woodstock project. We have created a Zenodo community, which we will explain it later. And then we can include here or upload here every publication or every result. You can include it in this Woodstock community. And we can or we must reference to the funding support. So when we upload one document and one result, we need to link it with the funding program. In this case, was the Horizon Europe from the European Commission. And you can also track the number of views, downloads, and how relevant is the publication for the research community. This is the main page of the website. This is how Zenodo looks like when you open it. And then we will try to do some examples. Now I will present this general presentation, and then if you agree, we can go through the Woodstock Zenodo community just to check how to do the things and how it's organized. In this main page, we can see here the header showing the major communities, which is this EU Open Research Repository. And here it appears recent uploads. It's a random publications. It's not related to anything. It's in general. And here at the right, you will see some explanation on why to use Zenodo. What are the benefits? It's more or less what I explained previously, but here it's in the main page of the website. Then,
if you screen a little bit this repositories and the communities that are there, Zenodo is used a lot also for medical research. I mean, it's used now for all kinds of fields, but it was, for example, quite instrumental during this COVID phase where people shared their COVID data sets. So you find really also interesting data sets, you know, where thousands or hundreds of thousands of people are downloading it. Just as a side note, you know. It's open for everybody.
Yeah, we will explain later what are the vocabulary or the databases, because there are. Okay, we will explain later how to use or how to refer to keywords, to research keywords, depending on the field of your research. One of them, as Uwe said, is related to medical research, but there are other related to environmental and other related to horizon or European Union projects, we can say, mainly related to countries, but we will explain it later. Here, this is if we go to one community. In this case, we did an example for the InnovaWood network, which is an own community. How do we see the website? Okay, here the head is the InnovaWood network and the organization, and then we can see the same, so a list of uploaded documents. You can sort it by the newest or the oldest or different type of sorting. And here, you can see some of them. For example, this innovation in the construction, in the wood construction sector, it's here in the InnovaWood network, but it's also under the Woodstock network. So we will see it later. Okay, if you link here, you can see many documents related to wood research, wood construction in our community, in InnovaWood community, but you can also follow different communities. Then, if you click here in the first document, Innovation in the Wood Construction Sector, what we can see the title, the authors, and a summary. And that's an abstract of the document. You need to write it. This is the information you need to upload when you create a new publication there. And we see here the file, the PDF that you are attaching, which is, in this case, is just a presentation. It's a PowerPoint presentation in PDF. And at the right, you can see, okay, how many views, how many downloads, the version, because maybe this is the first version, but if you need to modify something, you can create a new version, because it's not allowed to delete the uploaded file. When you upload a file, it's there forever. So if you, for example, find a mistake or an error and you need to correct something, you need to create a new version or just ask to the support to modify or change or substitute this file. But you can do that also during the first 30 days. If you need to modify something later, it's not possible, but you can do that. You can create a new version and correct or modify your previous one. Then this is the communities in which your upload is included. As I mentioned before, this example was in the InnovaWood network, but it's also in the community Woodstock and also in the Wood for Bauhaus community. So you can link your upload to different communities if you think that is relevant for other communities. Next is here, after uploading the PDF or attaching the PDF, you need to reference the funding to funding. In this case, as you can see, is the European Commission, the Woodstock project. And also because this presentation was presented in combination with another project, which was OpenAIRE, you can include both funding projects. So you can include what you want here, but these projects are already listed in Zenodo, so you don't need to create or to include the wall information just to write in Woodstock or the number of the grant. It's immediately recognized by the website. Here at the right, we can see that we need to include some keywords related to the topic. And we can create keywords in different ways. One is just to create your own keyword, but the most relevant or the most interesting thing is just to try to look for keywords existing in different, I don't know how to name it, databases or vocabulary databases. I will explain it in the next slide, how to use or what are these terms that we need to use. And here we can see also the publishing details when everything is ready. You can see here the DOI of your upload, the kind of resource. In this case, it was a presentation, not a paper. Who is the publisher? In this case, it was InnovaWood. And here, yes, it was a presentation from a conference. So the conference is also included here. Going now to the keywords, I would like just to explain this a bit better. When you write your keyword, and this is just an example, you can write just wood and that's all, or you can write forest and that's all, or you can just write forest and look what Zenodo offered to you. In this case, this GEMET is the General Multilingual Environmental Thesaurus, and it's a category of vocabulary related to environmental research. So it's easy if you, not easy for you, but easy for sharing this publication to use this categorized vocabulary because it's recognized by other communities. So if you include just forest, okay, maybe someone can find it, but if you include forest, use it with this vocabulary, the General Multilingual Environmental Thesaurus, it will be easily found by other communities. The other type of vocabulary is this European Science vocabulary, which is a taxonomy developed by the European Union to categorize scientific fields. And this is the vocabulary used by Cordis. So I think that these two vocabularies are the most relevant for our research publications. So if you include forest, we can see that there is a forest also already defined by GEMET. And if we include, for example, construction, we can see that there is a construction engineering already defined by the aeroscience vocabulary. So it's better if we include these terms. If there is no term defined by any of these taxonomies, we can include our own keywords. But I think that if it already exists, it's better to use the categorized ones.
This is in a way something that is coming now. This is quite new because Zenodo is also now acknowledged by the Commission that it's really a very useful open repository for the European science funded projects. And they actually, from Zenodo, they also collaborate now with certain communities. So there's also a specific taxonomy for biodiversity, for example, that is becoming available here. I think this kind of keyword things it will evolve further in the future. Yeah, there might be even other type of taxonomies included. But the ones that Vanessa mentioned already here, they are quite useful because they already cover environmental topics in a quite broad way.
There are other one named MESH, which is specific for medical research, for example, but it's not okay, not our case. And then, the other thing that we can see after the keywords, the conference, is how to cite it or how to reference to the publication. So you can just copy here the citation. It's immediately created by Zenodo when you include all the information there. You can choose here the style, yes, if in your reference manager, and you can also export the citation to your reference manager, whatever you use. For example, Mendeley or Zenodo, the reference manager you commonly use for your when you are writing a paper in Word or in LaTeX or whatever. You can export directly the citation, and it's automatically uploaded in your reference manager. So it's also relevant for publications. And then, what are the benefits of this DOI and file links? Now we have explained how to upload one link to one PDF in this case, but we can also upload more files to the same publication. For example, the common case is in a conference, in a congress. In a congress, you usually have a paper, which is included in the book of proceedings, but you also have a PowerPoint. So you can upload both documents to the same DOI, or you can do it separately, but you need to refer that one is a complementary information to the other. But here, the explanation here is that you can access to this DOI Zenodo from different ways, just with the DOI link, or just through the Zenodo web page, or a direct download link. There are several ways to share this information. And this is the
advantage is that so for example, the DOI is of course the usual one that you use in a reference for a paper if you want to share it in a scientific way. But when you click on it, it will turn you to this Zenodo page link. Yeah, it's like a pointer to that page. But then there are also some other links. The direct download link actually allows you to directly download the PDF file. So if you send that link or you put it on the website or wherever, people will not, see the Zenodo behind it. They will just immediately open the PDF, which is also quite practical for some reasons. Yeah, if you don't want to show all this, like if the Zenodo looks a bit scientific and a bit, like a repository. And then there's also this kind of preview link where actually the file opens in your browser directly. You just have to play around a bit and try out different things. And as Vanessa said, if you upload several files to one DOE, you even get a download all link, which gives you then a zip file.
Yeah, and this is an example under the same DOI in different documents. And you can download, for example, the paper or the main publication, the data set, software, or whatever. So you can create different DOIs for different parts of the publication, or just to include it under the same DOI with several links. So this is up to you how to use it. And then this is the explanation about the file versions. As I mentioned previously, if you need to update your publication, which already has a DOI, you need to create a new version. It's not allowed to remove it and to upload a new one. So the old one will be here as well. All the versions are recorded, but when you try to open one, and if it's not the most recently, you will receive a note or notification that please take into consideration this is not the last version of the publication.
Yeah, and as you can see here, Zenodo really supports this versioning of data sets. Yeah, I picked it from an example of, I think it was some kind of COVID data set. You know, it has 854 versions here named because every day they update their data set and it's always available under the same link. So this might be something for if you are creating data sets which are continuously updated, or if you have, you know, updates of a software or something like that.
Yes. Yes, so we don't need to wait for have the data set ready. You can upload it, and when it's complemented or with more information, we can create a new version. So yeah, we don't need to wait until the end to publish something if we wish to do it earlier. And then what is really relevant for the new project is that everything you upload on Zenodo linked to the funding program is automatically included in the portal, in the European Commission portal. So in your project, we can see here an example of another project we are involved. It's the EIRE project, and we can see that the publications included in Zenodo are all of them automatically included here. Then here we need to just to check if we agree, and if we agree, that just add publication, and that's all. I don't know if you would like to explain something else.
No,
here.
it's very practical for, you know, for projects where you have a lot of data and publications. If you put them one time on Zenodo, then you already have them in the portal instead of copy pasting all of that by hand. You know, that can really save you some time.
Yes, so it's really useful to upload every publication to Zenodo immediately that you have published it, and because when you need to report, everything is already there. The scattering.
I was wondering if you have experience if this automatic uploading to the portal also applies to the data sets if you link them to the project, because in my experience, this link is not working, but I don't know if you have experienced otherwise.
We don't have experience, but maybe Mike can also answer on that.
Yeah, so there was a period when it certainly was not working, but the last reporting session I did, I was able to see the data sets in there, but I know they were making some changes to how this system, ECAS, grabs the information from Zenodo. So it was because they were using an older version of the open access data format thing, DataSite. And so there are some changes there. I don't know if it's working at the moment, but it's kind of been up and down, working or not. So,
and there's probably a delay anyway in the uploading.
Yeah, it's pretty quick if you upload something on Zenodo. Almost half an hour later or a few minutes later, you can see it on the Cordis website of your project. But here in this portal, it sometimes takes more time. And even as you see here, sometimes it's like uploading double twice the same data set for some reason. But that might be, as Mike just said, because they are fixing these things.
Okay.
And you can anyways choose and, you know, deselect or kick out any item that you don't want to see here.
Okay, how to log in Zenodo? Okay, we need to upload any document to Zenodo. We need to create our account, our personal account, which can be just linked to the email or to our site. It's better if you can create your login related to your site, because it's more useful. But it's at the beginning we did it with a general account from InnovaWood, but now we know that we should have our personal account to upload things, because then it's easier just to check if we need to correct something, or who are the curators or the owners of the community. When someone uploads a document, there are some people, which is designed in the project, who need to review what is uploaded and accept it or not. So there is a kind of revision of what is uploaded there. And for that, we need to have our account. And yeah, my account is just a profile, create a profile with a username, full name, affiliation, and email. And also you can link your ORCID. And yeah, and how to upload and publish documents. And this is something similar to what was presented previously. But here, when you need to upload a new document, the first thing you need is to select your community. For example, in this case, for Woodstock, your community will be Woodstock. And you need to upload here your file, your PDF. And here, this is the most relevant thing, is that you need to define if your document has already a DOI or if you need to create a new one. For example, if you are uploading a publication from a scientific journal, which already has a DOI, you need to include here this number. You cannot create a new DOI for the same document. So this is the most tricky question here, just to be sure that there is not yet a DOI when you upload your document, or if there is, just to refer to that. And here, okay, you can, when it's ready, you can just define if your document is public or restricted. Yes, you need to do it public for following the requirements for the Horizon Europe project. And then you can save a draft or take a preview of how it looks like, and or just publish it. If you are not sure about the content yet, you can just save your draft, ask some questions to the whatever the person you need to ask, and then publish it later.
There's also a very useful thing here. So if you create an own DOE using Zenodo, you can actually do this before you publish it. So you can choose and say, okay, I need a DOE from Zenodo here. It will show you the DOE even before you publish it. So you can include that into documents or into the report itself as a reference, because this Zenodo is reserved for your item before you publish it. So that's a useful way to actually use already the DOE before even it is published. So you can include it in the same publication.
Yeah. And then the second thing is just to select the resource type. As you can see here, there's a list of possible publications. It can be an image, or it can be a physical object, it can be a poster, a presentation, which is sometimes is PowerPoint. Again, we are going to conferences, or it can be a publication, and the publication can be a scientific paper or a book chapter or a conference paper or a conference proceeding. So you need to know well what you are uploading, and just to refer in consequence with this resource type.
Yeah, the list is very long. There's much
Yes,
more. There's software, there's data sets, there's videos, images. You can upload anything you want, actually.
Yes. And then you need to add title. You can also add an additional title or an alternative language if you want, and add the date of publication. And then the authors, with named creators here. It can be a person or an organization, and you need to include the family name and the given name, the identifiers, which is commonly the ORCID, and the affiliation, which is usually included here. When you click, there is a list of organizations, and you can select the right one, and your role in the publication. And here there are too many roles, and sometimes it's not so easy to select the right one. in most of cases we use just researcher, but you can select different roles. And then you also can include contributors, which are not the main authors, but some organization who has contributed somehow to the publication. And then here's the description. This is usually the abstract. You need to write it, and that's all. Here, the license by default is this Creative Commons attribution, but if there are other licenses in the publications which are already published, you need to, or you can add it here. And then the keywords and subjects, as I explained it previously, you can create your own keywords, or just to look for any existing keywords in the different taxonomy catalogs. The language, and then the publisher. By default, it's included Zenodo here, but you can modify it and include your organization or the name of the project or whatever you want. And then this is the other really relevant thing, is just to link your publication to the funding program. And here we did this example. We would be writing here Woodstock, and then 2 projects appears automatically, and we need to select the right one. In this case, is the first one. So yeah, you need to click here, and the funding is updated. And if there is not, if the funding program is not included in this list, you can create your own funding. This is usually uncommon for national funding, which is not commonly included here in the list of the Zenodo. So you can create your own funder, and then with the number of the grant and the title and the link to the website.
Mike, you wanted to add something?
Yes, sorry.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, because I don't remember what was in the slides. I apologize. If you talk about adding a second grant, because a lot of things are going to be to have 2 grants or more, because it's kind of a strange process. Or sorry, not grants, 2 communities.
Well, there are 2 things. You can add 2 grants. We do this for some of these papers, because we say this is
not grants,
started by one project, and then we've continued it in another one. But the question about communities, what is it about?
Yeah, sorry, I meant to say, do you say how to add things to 2 communities?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it will come, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. It came to my mind, and I'm sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, I think that it was more or less explained previously, but we will go more in depth later, and then we will try just to open Zenodo, just to try different things, just to understand it better. Okay, more information. If you are publishing a publication from a scientific journal, you need to include here the title of the scientific journal and the ISSN, the volume, the issue, the pages. But you can also, if you are uploading a book chapter, you need to include here the information of the title of the book, and then the book chapter and the pages, etc. You can also upload a thesis, different things. So there are different fields to fill in depending on what kind of document you are uploading.
Yeah, these are all optional. This is like you choose how you name it. You can also write, of course, a journal somewhere else in the publishing field or whatever. It will show in the reference. But it is if you want to really upload it very appropriately, that you can find it later if you have larger data sets and so on.
Mm-hmm. The same for the conference, and also if there is no specific field for your uploading, you can create your own domain, and you can add here your field. For example, for software, or I don't know, for other things that software, I think it's included here, but I don't know, for a picture of an image, you can create your own
like specific other research areas, they create their own domain-specific categories, like a taxonomy. You know, if you are working on species, then you have like a filter or a field where you can select families or different types of species even. That is actually developing this part.
And then finally, just to publish, when you click publish, yeah, this word appear here in your laptop, saying you that when you publish it, you cannot modify it later. It refers to the attached document. You can always modify the other fields, okay, the abstract or the title, whatever it is. Yeah, the things that the information you include by hand, you can modify it later, but what is not allowed to modify later is the attached document. So when you publish it, then this publication is not automatically published in Zenodo, because then the curators or the owners of the community will receive a notification that someone of the project would like to publish something. So, okay, the owners will receive this question, and then they need to check if the publication is really a result of the project and approve it or not approve it, depending on the case. And then how to manage communities. And yeah, we are now we will focus on not on how to upload documents, but how to create communities. For your information, the Woodstock community is already created, so maybe you don't need this information, but just a quick explanation on how to do it. Here in the main head, you can find this square named communities. So here you can create a new one, or just to go through your community, looking for it here. In this case, was the AIRE community. And then this is the information that appears at the community. In the settings, you can get this profile, which is the basic information, the name of the project, of the community, a short description, the type of community, in this case it was a project, the website, and the organizations. And you can add a logo here. Then you need to include the funding information. In this case was this AIRE project, and the same, you can include here the keywords. And then this danger zone appears at the end of the page, because you can delete the community, but it's not possible to recover it later. So please don't do it. And then there are other information we need to hear. So submission policy. So you can select here if you want that every document need to be reviewed. So in this case is review all submissions, or you can create a different permissions. Just allow curators, managers, and owners to publish without review, or just allow all the members to publish without review. We usually use this review policy, just to be sure, because two brains are better than one, just to be sure. And then, yes, the permissions is open or closed, but for Woodstock, as Katrin explained it previously, everything needs to be open access. So, and then more information related to the curation policy, okay, which is the lead curator depending on the community, and more information about the place of the community. You can also go to your dashboard. In this case, it's for the InnovaWood Secretariat. So in my dashboard here, we have all the documents uploaded independently on the community. So you can, now maybe is the right moment to explain how to create or how to link one document to the different communities. Let me check if it's here. Yes. For example, here the dashboard of InnovaWood includes several communities. One is Woodstock, the other one is the European Bauhaus Academy and other projects. So in your own community, you can have different communities inside. And no, it's not here, Mike. We can go later through the website directly to explain it better. And here is the kind of request that the curators or the owners of the community receive when someone uploads a publication. So yeah, the owner will receive this kind of request. And someone has uploaded this document, and you need to check it and just to accept or decline, depending on if it fits or not with your community. Because sometimes you receive some requests for people you don't know, with presentations or publications relevant to your topic, and they ask you for included it in your community. So we need to decide here in the Woodstock project if the publications under this community will be just the publication resulted from Woodstock, or if we would like to get also publications in topics related to Woodstock. But I think that not in this case, just Woodstock, right? You are muted, Uwe. I see that you are trying to talk.
Sorry, excuse me. So this is actually already decided. In case of these European projects that are funded, and if we create an own community for a certain project, all the items that are in this community should only be results of the project. That is a request from the Commission. Otherwise, we cannot include it into the open repository from the Commission. So they are actually checking it. We have, added sometimes another paper or something which was not very clear about a result of the project. Then actually also the Zenodo curators, they are sort of checking it in behind. And then you get actually requests from Zenodo, please, if you want to be maintained in the community of the Commission, then you should actually take out all these publications which are not part of the project. So this is quite clear. But in case you are managing your own community, with your own topic, your own research field or whatever it is, then of course you can choose who is in and out. So it can also be a collection of anything else. I don't know, maybe, yeah, what is the next slide about these communities? No, I think we are done here. Yeah, Mike, about your question, I think you can add it to different communities, but just as I said, you have to be quite sure that it is belongs to two projects in that case, that has been co-funded, that you can prove that it really belongs to these two projects. And then, yeah, the question, do you want to add it even to other communities where it's also relevant? Yeah, here this case, we have a paper about innovation in the wood construction sector. So it's part of Woodstock, but it's also relevant for the Wood for Bauhaus community, which is not a project in itself, right? It's different viewers who are looking at that one who would not immediately go to the Woodstock community. So that's why we include it in 2 or 3 communities at the same time.
Yeah, I think it's just important to note that you have to do that after it's uploaded.
Yes, that's right. When you upload an item, you just can choose one community in the beginning. And then when it's published, this field of communities is actually editable. And then you can add other communities as well, right? That's an important point.
Yes, and maybe we could ask Catherine here, because when one publication is a result from 2 different projects, how to manage it? Because in Zenodo we can do it. We can include here both projects, Foreign and Woodstock. But how it works? Is it unloaded by the? I don't know if you have.
I have never seen. Well, up till now, I haven't had the case that one publication was part of 2 European projects, I must say. But I think in theory it could be possible.
Yeah, we do this quite often and it hasn't posed any problems.
It often is the case when you have, developed a data set in a first project and then you start analyzing it further with more data or other methods or something like that. It depends on the field, I would say, but especially in forestry, where they work with forest inventory data, which is like collected over years and decades, it's happening quite often that they cite 2 or 3 projects in one publication. Of course, if the project officer asks you about it, then you should have a good explanation for it. But for me, it's also quite usual. I've seen it so many times.
Okay, and finally, just okay, the user support. Okay, if you have some questions, you can go to the support with frequent answer questions and help pages. And okay, if your question is not solved through this way, you can always send an email to the contact point there, and you will receive an answer in a couple of days, more or less. And so, yeah, every question you have that it's not solved here, you can ask. And yeah, this is how to ask. When you when you send an email to the contact point here in Zenodo, you can select what kind of question you are doing. It can be a general inquiry, but it can be also record the election, or I don't know, ownership transfer, different kind of questions. And yes, more or less in a couple of days you will receive an answer. And this is which is also relevant, is this when you upload and publish your publication, and you can modify the file asking the contact point there, but just during the first 30 days. Later, you need just to create a new version. It's not possible to modify the file after 30 days. So this is also relevant for you to know. And I think that's all. Okay, this is just an example of InnovaWood communities, because under InnovaWood communities we are managing these different communities. Any of them are related to other projects, but others is just an alliances or interesting topics. And I think that for Woodstock, several of these communities can be useful. For example, this Wood for Bauhaus. Maybe if you are talking about wood and NEP, you can ask this community if they accept to publish your publication there or not, I don't know. Or even for this European Hardwoods Innovation Alliance, if you are publishing something related to hardwoods, maybe you can try, let's see, also link your publication to this community. But there are others, this European Bauhaus Academy, of course, and the other are mainly related to projects, so not allowed to link the publication to the other communities. But for these general ones, maybe it's possible. Let's see, depending on the publication. And that's all from our side. I don't know if you have some questions now, or if you would like just to open Zenodo and see how.
Yeah, maybe if there are already some questions, who has worked with Zenodo already and who wants to use it further here? You can also maybe close the screen and that we can see people. Yeah. Was this clear enough?
I think that opening the website seems easier than with the presentation, but I can try to do it. Okay, I'm going to share my screen again then. Everyone wants to talk. Sorry, no. Oops.
Hi, should we all request to be part of the community? on Zenodo then?
Well, if you have data that you would, results that you would like to publish, right?
Yeah, I suppose we all will eventually. Or do we just wait until then?
It's also the minimum is that you create yourself a user account and that you upload your results, and then you can submit it to the Woodstock community.
Okay. So you don't have to request to join the community, or it's just go through the publication. All right. Okay. Grand. Thanks.
Yes, this is the Woodstock community. Okay. And here, this is the information records. We have already 3 documents uploaded. And here we receive the request. For example, if someone upload a publication, then the owners or the curators receive the request here. This is the members. Okay, now and the role that we have. Now we are managing this community, the University of Ghent, Beta, and InnovaWood. So we are the curators or the owners. And we receive this request. And here in settings, okay, we have the name of the project, a short description, the type, which is a project, the website, and here some keywords. But now, sorry, this is the organizations.
These are the organizations.
Yes. We are all the partners of the project. And here the funding information, which is the link to the Horizon Europe project funding program. And here are the keywords. And here we can see that there are most of the keywords are own keywords, but it will be nice to try to include here the keywords from this database. So if you are including forests, maybe forests using this taxonomy. So we will check these keywords and we will try to use the same keyword, but using this vocabulary. So we will do it later.
Yeah, in case there are some results, like somebody has a lot of data to upload, it might be useful that we add you as an editor. There are different, you can define the level of persons. There's the highest is owner, who can change everything. Then there is curator, but there's also contributor or something like that. So if you have actually a lot of data or a lot of people involved in your team that you want to, give access here, you can actually add several types of users with different roles. It's quite practical. But for the project, I think this will work at the moment.
And then this creation policy, some information. And
this is quite useful. You have an about page where you really can describe what this community is about. Either it's about a project, but it can also be about your research group, for example. Yeah, if you have a team or a certain group of people who have an own repository, you can really explain what is in there. This text can be edited all the time, and you can include links, and you can include even pictures if you want. It's like a small website.
Okay, and now going now to this documents uploaded. Okay, we can see here there's a mistake we need to solve because we have 2 presentations, the same presentation with 2 DOI. So this is the problem. We need to check it. And but it's good to see it here just to understand well how it works. So here this presentation, the general presentation, was included here in April. It was published here with their own DOI. But then this presentation was also presented in another conference or another place, and it was also already. It was again included here. So we need to be careful with this because now we have the same document with 2 DOIs. So we need to remove one of them, or at least to restrict one of them. Maybe, I don't know, we need to talk what we prefer to maintain. Probably this one, which was the first one. And we can not remove, but at least restrict the access to this one, to don't have two identical documents with two DOIs. So this is the kind of things we need to be careful with, and also just to let you know that this kind of information that you can publish here the document, and maybe this document or this presentation will be used later for another conference, but you cannot upload it again. So it needs to be reported to the portal in another way, maybe just saying with pictures or whatever, but not including a new document for the same presentation.
I mean, you can also add something later. So maybe this versioning makes sense here. You know, if we have an update of the general presentation, you could add a new version of it.
A new version under the same DOI, just
because you actually get different DOIs. Actually, there's always one DOI for the last version and also the previous versions. So I don't think it's such a big problem here to have the same file. I mean, here it doesn't make lots of sense. I agree, but it's not a big issue or a problem. Both are results of the project. Why not?
Yeah, I think that they are identical documents. That's why.
Okay.
Yeah. But we need to check it.
The advantage is if you have different versions together in one document, also the download numbers and the KPIs, they actually increase and just continue instead of adding a new file which always starts at 0. So I would rather recommend to use versions for that one.
Yeah. No, because maybe it's relevant. Of course, we need to report to the in the project that we have presented Woodstock in different conferences, but we need to report it in a different way because if the content is the same, we cannot upload it here every time, which could make sense, but it's not the objective of Zenodo. The objective of Zenodo is just to identify the publication once, not tracking how many times you have presented the publication, which is different. It could be an option, but it's not the objective of Zenodo.
You could inscribe it in this presentation. You say this is the general presentation, and here's a list where it has been presented. For example,
you can edit the summary every time. Here, for example, here in the summary, you can just here edit, and then when you edit, you can modify some information here. Let's see that. Yes, here, for example, here in the description, we can include here every time that this presentation was presented, and we can add information here. But the presentation is the same and the DOI is the same, but it's good for tracking how many times we have presented the project in the different events. So,
but it doesn't have to be inscribed here. It can also be, in the report or something.
Yes, also in the report. But yes, if we want to do it, we can do it here because it's editable. Start change. Okay, I don't know if you would like to ask anything else or. I think that.
Okay.
That's all from our side.
Questions, answers.
Okay.
So, Katrien Kaat, do you want to say something?
I think maybe, Katrien, it's also a question to you, and because about the different times to keep track of when the general presentation is presented at the different conferences or other events. I think it has to be added in the continuous reporting Excel as well. So it's also we also keep track of the different events we present the Woodstock at. So, but it's also a good idea, I think, to have it on the Zenodo in the description. But that's it. Thank you for the very clear presentation, Vanessa, and Uwe.
Yeah.
Yes, very interesting.
So yeah, we are available for any questions if there are some issues or you see now how this works. It's really quite easy to use once you get used to it. And yeah, hopefully we can collect all the results step by step during the project there. It's really like you have to upload it, submit it to us, and then the curators of the community will, choose and accept it. And you will see over time, this is really useful because you get a lot of KPIs. You see how many people are reading these presentations even after you have been on a conference or so. It's getting quite some attention later. So yeah, thanks for attending today. And then yeah, we are there for any questions, and let's just continue.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
See you.
Thank
See
you.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Yeah.